Howdy everybody. I guess you wonder where I've been. Well, I've been busy working on a locomotive actually, and doing a lot of other things. I'm sorry, but the videos take a second seat to the building of the locomotive. But I'm going to try to get better at doing these things. Uh, this video should cover the brake rigging and the spring rigging. It might cover a few other things, depends on how much I can put into it. I don't want to take too long. I'm trying to keep these videos down to about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that. But so far we've covered the the frames, and we're going to cover the springs and brake rigging this time. And that's the springs on the main drivers. That doesn't include the trailing truck. But this time we're going to do that. The next video is probably going to cover the drive boxes, building those, and the bushings. And with that, let's get going.
This is the brake cylinder as it is finished. There will be two brake cylinders, but this is one of the brake cylinders shown as finished. This is the brake rigging at the rear behind axle 4. This is the cross member that the brake shoes will hang on, and then the rods go forward to link to the brake cylinders. This is the turning of the outside of the shaft to start the brake cylinders. And this is the boring of the interior of the brake cylinder to receive the piston and piston rod. This is the exterior of the brake cylinder after it's been turned. And this is the interior of the brake cylinder after it's been turned. This is another shot of the brake rigging underneath. I don't really recall which axle this is, but it's a head of 4 anyway. But this is some of the brake rigging. The end of the shaft there is where the brake shoe will attach. Now we start getting to the brake hangers. You can see that the brake hangers hanging down from the frame. The rear one is axle 4, then 3, and then 2. Axle 1 is not shown at this point. Now here's another shot. This shows this shot shows the equalizers in the frame for the springs, and then the brake hanger is hanging down there. An axle on the left and an axle on the right. Now here's a picture of the springs. I'll show you in a minute the jig that I used to make the springs. These are made out of 3/4 inch spring steel, 1/16 inch thick, and it was a bear punching those holes through those springs. Now this is some of the fittings for the springs. Each end has a hanger rod, and these are the fittings that go on the end of the springs. Now this is the jig I made to punch the spring. There's a slot at the bottom that the spring steel slides into, and then a punch in the center. I put this in a 20-ton press, and it would punch the holes in the spring steel. It took about 5 tons of force to press the holes in that 1/16 inch spring steel. Now here we have the spring rigging set up in the springs. Each end of the spring has a hanger that goes down to an equalizer. It runs over to the next spring, and hanger goes back up to that spring. So all the axles are sprung together. The lead truck will not be tied into the equalizing system, but it will tie into the trailing truck. This is an overall shot outside, showing the springs in place, the axles. But it's all equalized together. It equalizes to the trailing truck. I haven't got that done yet, but it will equalize to the trailing truck. Here's another shot of the springs in place. So it's a little bit closer shot, but it shows how the springs go down to the drive boxes. We'll get the drive boxes in the next video. Now this is a shot of the cross equalizer at the rear of the frame. Those vertical rods go down and those connect to the equalizers and springs in the trailing truck, but that's what you call that's what's called a cross equalizer. And this last shot is the front equalizer. Again, this front equalizer connects to the frame at the bottom of those vertical rods. It does not equalize to the lead truck. This is the end of this video about the springs and brake rigging. I'm sorry it's such a short video. I'll try to, the drive boxes will definitely be a longer video, and I'll try to get that video a little quicker. Try not to make you wait so long for the next video. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you.